They laughed when he walked in, mocked his suit, questioned his presence, and told him this floor wasn't for his kind. One even asked if he was there to deliver food. But none of them knew the man they were humiliating. The black man they tried to push out of the room was about to change their lives forever. Malcolm Reed stepped through the revolving glass doors of Harrison and Klein Global with a quiet poise that cut through the noise of clacking heels and murmured meetings. Sunlight shimmered off the towering marble columns and brass fixtures that lined the lobby. The scent of citrus cleaner hung in the air, and polished stone gleamed beneath his polished shoes. His navy suit was sharp and tailored, the leather briefcase in his hand understated but elegant. He had the look of a man who belonged. But as he approached the Crescent reception desk, something familiar happened and he disappeared. The woman behind the counter didn't glance up. Her fingers clicked across the keyboard. No greeting. No eye contact. Malcolm waited a few moments, then cleared his throat gently. Excuse me. I'm here for the 9 a.m. strategy briefing on the 30th floor. Still nothing. He tried again, slightly louder, and only then did a security officer stroll over. Officer Jennings, his nameplate said. Stocky build, pale complexion, tight buzz cut. He didn't ask questions. He didn't smile. Just looked Malcolm up and down and said flatly, deliveries go through the back. Malcolm kept his voice calm. I'm not delivering anything. I'm here for a meeting. Jennings barely blinked. This entrance is for corporate personnel only. Vendors use the service entrance. You'll need to check in there. Malcolm stood his ground. My name is Malcolm Reed. I was invited. Still, Jennings gestured toward the doors. Protocol? He didn't move. He didn't raise his voice. He simply asked, would you like to see the email? Jennings said nothing. Malcolm turned and walked to the row of leather chairs near the far walla space unofficially known as the vendor waiting area. He didn't sit. He just stood, glanced at his watch. 8:49 a.m. The meeting he had been brought in to lead was in 11 minutes. He walked past the receptionist again, heading toward the elevators without a word. As he pressed the button, 3 young men in slim suits rounded the corner, chatting. They stopped when they saw him. One smirked. Did someone order a courier? Malcolm ignored them. Another, a tall man with red hair, stepped closer. You lost? This floor is for execs. Kitchen staff uses the service lift. Malcolm looked him in the eye. I know exactly where I'm going. Do you? Before the redhead could answer, a new figure appeared. Spencer Alden, Director of Strategy. Thin lips, slick back hair, expensive watch. He stopped when he saw Malcolm. Can I help you? Malcolm Reed, Malcolm said. I'm here for the executive briefing. Spencer didn't smile. He didn't offer a handshake. And who invited you? He asked with a smirk. Executive office, Malcolm replied. I'm consulting on the Virex acquisition. Spencer chuckled. We don't bring in outside consultants without clearance. If you're here for IT or logistics, that's the second floor. I'm not with facilities. And I'm not a vendor. You sure about that? Spencer asked, tone dripping with sarcasm. Because I run these briefings and your name isn't on my list. Check with your CSO before making assumptions. Spencer rolled his eyes. I don't need to. We know who belongs. Just then, a young woman in a tailored blazer hurried over. Mr. Reed. Sorry to keep you waiting, she said. Conference room 11 is ready. Spencer froze. The woman turned to him. Spencer, this is Mr. Reed. He's leading the acquisition strategy today. Malcolm walked with her toward the elevators. Spencer trailed awkwardly. Before you go up, he said, about your suit. Presentation matters. Just a tip. Malcolm glanced at him. Appreciate the advice, he said flatly. I'll be sure to consult you next time I get dressed for a boardroom. Inside the elevator, Malcolm didn't break eye contact. The only confusion here is thinking you get to decide who belongs. On the 30th floor, he waited by the conference room as board members trickled in. Behind the glass, he saw Spencer take a seat near the front. A few more execs filed in. Then the interna young white guy in a wrinkled shirt was waved in and seated next to Spencer. Malcolm still waited. From inside, Spencer leaned toward his assistant. People think wearing a nice suit makes them one of us, he said, laughing. It's almost cute. Then the door opened. Mr. Reed? They're ready. He stepped inside. The room went quiet. Spencer didn't acknowledge him. We were just discussing volatility projections. Hopefully our guest can catch up. Malcolm placed a document on the table. Executive invitation, he said. Signed by former CEO, endorsed by the acquisitions committee. Spencer didn't take it. He looked at the paper, then tore it in half. This is my floor. I decide who gets a seat. Gasps around the table. Malcolm remained calm. That was a legally binding document. So sue me, Spencer said. You don't belong here. Malcolm packed up his briefcase and left the room. 5 minutes later, the doors opened again. Malcolm returned. Beside him, Adrian Langston, chair of the Global Oversight Council. Allow me to introduce Mr. Malcolm Reed, Adrian said. As of this morning, he is the new CEO of Harrison & Klein. Spencer's face drained of color. Malcolm stepped forward. I'm not here for a meeting. I'm here to lead a transformation. And Spencer, your conduct is under review. He opened a folder. Signed documents. Full authority. Performance audits. Ethics investigations. You've been on the wrong side of every metric. Spencer stammered. If I'd known who you were, you'd have shaken my hand. Instead, you showed me who you are. He addressed the board. Let's be clear. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was culture. That ends today. Adrian spoke next. Effective immediately, Spencer Alden is suspended pending ethics review. Spencer tried to stand. No one helped him. Compliance escorted him out. Malcolm looked around. Complicity is not neutral. Accountability is not optional. The receptionist and Officer Jennings were also gone by noon. In the months that followed, Harrison & Klein transformed. Malcolm led with presence. Interns became managers. Quiet talent rose. The building stayed the same, but the culture shifted. Leadership programs launched. Ethics became policy. And far from the tower he once ruled, Spencer Alden began again. At first, just rumors. Then a video surfaced. Spencer, now volunteering with high school students, teaching business ethics. Because I used to be the reason people like you were overlooked, he said, eyes moist, and now I want to be the reason you're not. He later admitted when Malcolm walked in, he didn't just change the company. He changed me. Malcolm never used Spencer's story as PR. He let it speak for itself. Because real leadership doesn't just replace bad systems. It builds better ones. And on the top floor, watching city lights flicker in the evening, Malcolm Reed continued building.